All right, guys, back on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr. Houston advances. Max, the Elite Eight, defeats Tennessee 69-50. That was an interesting game, to say the least. You want to talk about a game kind of being dictated by the first, 5 minutes? That was really kind of the story, and I feel like we always talk about, especially with a team like Houston, where if you find yourself in like that early deficit, take whatever the number of points are that you're down by and double it, because that's kind of what it feels like when you're trying to claw back in the game. And, well, as we saw for Tennessee, you can't have a first half like that and shoot the ball that poorly and be able to beat this team. And, I mean, really, that was the difference, right? I mean, they tried to make a couple runs in the second half, but down 34-15 at halftime. Both teams scored 35 points each in the second half. There's the story.
Yeah, that was a tough end to the careers of Sakai, Jahmai, and those guys that have been with Rick Barnes forever. Tough end. They showed fight though. Obviously, shots were doing everything but falling in that first half. You get it back down to 10. You think, oh, the crowd's getting back into it. Houston's gone through a little bit of a field goal drought. But then there goes Sharp with the threes. Malik Wilson even is off the bench hitting threes. And it was kind of what we said. Very similar teams, both extremely tough and versatile defensively. However, Houston just had the more firepower from the backcourt with those three guards that all shoot north of 42% from three. And even with some Jawan Roberts foul trouble there in the first half, it was the Houston guards. The Houston guards were on today, and the Tennessee guards were not. And in a game that is going to feature this few possessions and this rock solid of defense, that was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, it was that simple. I mean, really, it's like,
yep.
we can analyze this game for an hour. We're not going to, because Auburn plays in 30 minutes, and we got to go see if the Tigers can secure the fourth number one seed in the Final Four. But, I mean, the game is very simple sometimes. If you make shots, it's a lot easier. And, I mean, we've said, even during this season, Tennessee is just the kind of team where, I mean, go back to the UCLA game, right? Wasn't there a stretch early in the UCLA game where they had 4 or 5 minutes where they struggled to get anything going offensively? It didn't really matter all that much because they still found a way to win. But, like, that has been the knock, right? If we just take the entire Rick Barnes era as a whole, the knock has been they are just one of those teams that pops up with one of those stretches where they just cannot score no matter who's on the court. And obviously, there were fewer of those last year. There weren't a ton of them this year because you had Connect, you had Lanier, and all that. But that's just kind of something where, man, against this kind of team, and we said it, right? Like, let's just keep talking about it. Like, why not? Because we're one win away from this story being the story of this NCAA tournament. Like, just understand how good the opponent is here in Houston.
Yeah.
And we said it coming in. Like, if Tennessee's going to win this game, you're going to have to play pretty much the perfect game. Because, yes, we saw how close the game was against Purdue for Houston and all that, but I think you kind of said it, Max. The chances of that being replicated maybe was not going to be as high, and I think just early on you saw Houston set the tone and made you realize, all right, Tennessee's not answering the early physicality, the pressure. It just looked like Tennessee was on their heels while Houston was just kind of dictating the way the game was going to go, and that was pretty much the story for a large portion of the game, minus a couple stretches where Tennessee tried to make it interesting late, but could never even get it closer than 10. So,
yeah, I thought Lapis was great on the color commentary. He was phenomenal, talking about how Tennessee just could not get that dribble penetration into the paint to be able to kick it out for open threes. So you look at those 3-point numbers, 5 of 29. I think Lanier missed a few that he normally hits, but for the most part, 0 of 14 or whatever that start was from 3, that was quite literally like 14 tough, contested, in-your-face threes. that the Houston defense forced. Whether it was Cryer, Sharp, Uzan, they keep you in front. And even if you do get by them a little bit, their recovery is so good that it gives either Tugler or Francis, sometimes even Roberts, just that half second of time to get that contest up. I thought, Blake, I know the Tennessee fans are going to just be, upset with Barnes and the offense and everything. This was more about the Tennessee defense than it was anything else.
Can we just quickly get this out of the way? Do you think Rick Barnes is going to get fired? No. There is a 0% chance Rick Barnes gets fired. What's the percent chance that he's coaching next season? That I can't tell you. But there is a 0% chance he gets fired. So, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. Like you said, I think when you look at, I mean, some of those towards the end too, right? Like Tennessee's trying to make their run, and I mean, Houston's just hitting wide open shots there towards the end of the game, right? Where they're trying to make the run, but I don't remember who it was. Was it Cryer that hit the 1-3 that kind of sparked the just onslaught back-to-back threes? Yeah. Sharp. Yeah. So I was just like,
one of them.
At that point, again, to make it that close, to feel like all right, it's probably going to be hard. You're only down 10, whatever, but you just knew at that point. After they hit that 3, all right, that's it. Because like we said, in any sort of lead with this team, double it because just the way they play. And so, yeah, just it is certainly for Tennessee fans. It's very disappointing because, again, the one thing that kind of rears its ugly head is the thing that over the years has done the exact same. With this team, you felt like from a matchup standpoint, as good as Houston has been, stylistically, this at least seemed like a game where if you just start the game off normal, right, and not literally worst case scenario to start the game, then who knows, right? I mean, this is a much closer game. You may still lose, but I think to sort of just have, I mean, that's the difference. As we said, they lose by 19. They were down 19 and a half, Second half, good enough to win, but not when you put yourself in that position early, and that's just what happened. Houston dictated everything from the beginning, and it looked like Tennessee was just in reactionary mode, whereas usually when we talk about Tennessee, right, they're the ones making everyone else react to their pressure, and what they do, defensively, and the offense comes from there, but just couldn't get it going early, and that was the name of the game here.
And you also got to look at it in the full picture of the whole season. Houston comes into this game 100% healthy. They haven't done that in years in the tournament, this deep into the tournament, be 100% healthy. Houston has everybody. What difference would a JP Estrella made in a game like this with Jawan Roberts in foul trouble, right? What difference would Lanier went 4 of 18 from the floor. Ziegler went 1 of 9 from the floor. Hey, Houston was able to bring Terrence Arsenault off the bench, and he hit 2 huge threes in that first half. What would a guy like Cam Carr could have done in a game like this off the bench in a spurt? So also look at it like that. This was 100% of the Houston Cougars, and this was Tennessee, who for a while now, this has obviously been the team, but still, when you're looking at the full picture, not at full strength. So that weighs into it when you're in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I mean, look, final numbers from Tennessee, they shoot 28.8% from the floor, 15 made field goals, 5 of 29 from 3. Lanier goes 2 of 12. Ziegler goes 1 of 6. Gainey made a couple, 2 of 5. I mean, got some offensive rebounds. I said I thought that may be important. Ultimately, didn't really matter much in the difference of the game. They had 12, only had 9 turnovers, which was fine. But again, Houston's kind of team, they only turned it over 5 times here in this game. And so just getting what they wanted, not a lot of pushback on that. They sort of just did what one of the many reasons, as I always say, Kelvin Sampson's easily my top 3, if not my favorite coach when it comes to just the actual execution of how they play in the game plan. Like, he just does such a tremendous job with that. And they came out and executed the game plan, right? It seemed like from the very beginning, it was just to come out, sort of establish the physicality and the tone early. They shoot 42%, which is not like, it's not like 50% or higher, right? But shoot 42%, made 9 threes, and that continues the streak. What is it now? 8 games in a row, I think. that Houston's made 8 or more threes. I think we brought that up in the preview, and we said that's kind of a difficult challenge against Tennessee. You're going to get enough of those. Kentucky didn't in the last game, but Houston does in this game. And so I got to the free throw line 4 times, right? It's one of those where how many teams have we seen before win a game in the NCAA tournament by 19 points in a 1 versus 2 where one team only gets to the line 4 times, made all 4 of their free throws. But that's how they beat you. So,
just real quick on Houston before I come back around to Tennessee. The line is out for our first Final Four matchup. Whoa! We've got a Final Four set. You know how long we've been waiting for this, Blake? All right. So Duke, do you know what the line is? Because I tweeted it out. Have you seen it yet? All right. What's your guess?
I'm going to say
Houston.
I'm going to say Duke minus 4.5.
You're a genius, my friend. You're a genius.
That was the first number that came to mind. What do you think? High, low?
Right on.
That's what
I think it's right on. Because when you think about it, I think the public will be on Duke just because naturally. When you look at Houston, though, so I went through Houston last night because my friend was asking me, like, how good are they actually? So they've lost 4 times by a total of 13 points. 3 of those losses are in overtime. The lone regulation loss was by 5 points, second game of the season to Auburn. But here's the craziest thing. Their largest deficit of the entire season is 10 points, 1 time. That's their largest deficit of the whole season.
Yeah.
They've played 38 basketball games, and they have only trailed by double digits 1 time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, if you want the updated odds too on national championship, DraftKings has updated them. Any guesses on what Duke is now?
Well, they were plus 105 when I woke up this morning. What'd they move to?
Plus 100. So we're right there on that.
Wow.
It's right there for Duke now. Florida plus 260, Houston plus 450, Auburn plus 700, Michigan State plus 2,800. So those are your final 5 teams remaining. As Auburn and Michigan State get ready to tip off here in about 20 minutes. But yeah, so that's kind of your updated number there on that. So
coming back to Tennessee now, as we quickly look forward. Yeah, good point there. Houston is. That's why I was trying to talk about the first half for Tennessee offensively. Like, yeah, they missed a few open shots, but geez, Houston was incredible defensively. So Chaz Lanier and Milicic and Dubar, they all come over this offseason. Fantastic contributions from all of them. They're all out. Gainey, great second year. He's leaving. Meshack and Zeegs, man, that's going to be tough to not see them playing for Tennessee anymore. Obviously, Cam Carr is out. And so that leaves you with a base of a very, very impressive front court. You've got a base of Felix Okpara, JP Estrella, and Cade Phillips to build around. Got to go out and hit some guards and wings in the portal. Rick Barnes is not getting fired, whether he decides to keep coaching or not, I have absolutely no clue. But that's a rock solid base there when you're talking about 3 returning members of the front court, and they're going to have to do their work in the portal in the back court, Blake.
Yeah, I mean, as always, when one of these SEC teams gets eliminated, we start looking ahead to the roster because this isn't what it used to be, right? You don't get 2 months off, and all of a sudden the rosters, here come your freshmen and all. No, like rosters are probably changing starting tomorrow. And so you'll have, again, we've talked about it. There's been 1,400, 1,500 players into the transfer portal. It's not even been a week yet. Not even been 1 week, and you've got 1,500, I think, in there. So we have to start looking ahead, looking at what these rosters could look like. But, I said it a few minutes ago, I do think people will be asking about Rick Barnes' future, and, that will certainly be a topic, I think, here over the next little bit. And we'll see kind of how that plays out, too, with the Vols. So, I think, again, with Tennessee, it's a disappointment just because of how you played. Look, it's getting to the Elite Eight is tough, especially in this tournament. But still, I mean, I think it's just the overall performance and knowing you left a lot on the table there, especially, again, if the game just starts off normal. If you're down 5 at the half and not 19 or something, if you're down 8, like still, it's hard against Houston to come back. But it just you can't put yourself in that position. So that's going to be the most disappointing part of this one for Tennessee, especially coming off of just a really good performance the game before. So I mean, so again, that sets up Duke versus Houston. The SEC will at most have 2 teams in the Final Four now. Any thoughts of the All SEC Final Four? 3, not going to happen. We now await Auburn to see if they can do it to give us what would again be a historic Final Four if that's the case in that game. So, all right, what else we got, Max? Anything else we want to add here on this one? We'll probably hop off in about 5 minutes or so because we are going to get ready to watch that Auburn-Michigan State game. But any questions you guys have, Tennessee fans? How you feeling about not just this game? Maybe what are your thoughts on the future of the program? And what are your kind of thoughts heading into the offseason? Probably not all into that just yet, but we do ask with everybody. Hey, we have to because that's how quickly this thing moves when it comes to the roster and the transfer portal and all that stuff. So, and yes, I know there will be plenty of Tennessee fans jumping into baseball since that is obviously, going pretty well. So, but we'll, of course, have that covered here too at Southeastern 16. But that's where we stand on that. Quick thoughts, Max. I know this is an SEC show, but Duke Houston. Since we're probably not going to do a Duke Houston prediction video for our SEC fans, but just quick thoughts.
I want to.
Houston. I know you want to. We might have to make that for members. I don't know.
So here's what I'm thinking. Obviously, you guys know I have Houston to win it all in my bracket pools. And if Houston does win it all, I win every bracket pool I'm in. So he's
winning the Southeastern 16 bracket pool. Do you want the updated standings right now?
Wait, before we get into that, let's pull up the standings.
All right, so here's the updated Southeastern 16 bracket group for anyone out there.
Is Hogs by 90 still in the 100th percentile?
No, not anymore. So, Max, things have gotten a little interesting in the old updated bracket here. So we're going to pull it up here on the screen if you guys want to see. We got a bit of a contest now based on how this thing is played out. So let's take a look at the you guys always kind of are curious about this. So, Max, here's where we are as we look at it. So right here is still the magic number, right? 1770 now is kind of your top number here. Look who's making a run here, Max. Up to number 7. I got Duke as the national champion, so obviously a lot of this is going to depend on what happens with some of these other games. I did have all 4 1 seeds advancing. I know I picked Tennessee in the prediction video, but I did have all 1 seeds advancing to the Final Four in my bracket. Meanwhile, Max, again, where you are going to stand out here is the fact as we continue to scroll, you're the only person right here in the top, whatever it is. My goodness. You're the only person on the front page here that has Houston as your national champion. So that could be your separator when it comes to this. If you guys are in the chat and you see your bracket on here, tell us because I see Carter. I see some of the other people, but tell us who you are. There's David. So, yeah, that's your current updated bracket challenge. So
things you love to see.
You love to see it, don't you? What's Kentucky fans? Kentucky fans in the chat are they're just having a good old time, aren't they? They're here. Kentucky fans, hope you enjoyed the transfer video on Cam Williams. Seems like you guys did. My goodness. A lot of views on that one. But, yeah, we appreciate you guys jumping in as well. More transfer videos to come because – don't look now. Follow my Paris out there doing some work in the transfer portal.
Yep.
If you guys didn't see it, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Eaglestaff, heading to Columbia to play for the Gamecocks. How about that?
Big time pickup.
We'll do a video on that.
Speaking of transfers, just real quick, got a little nugget for you Tennessee fans. Keep an eye on Maryland point guard Jacoby Gillespie. Heard some rumblings. That would be big time for the Vols to reload that backcourt there. But to circle back to Duke Houston and just quick thoughts. So that's 13 straight favorites that have won now. We've gone like 8 years without an underdog winning. The last one was Ole Miss, Iowa State. I don't even remember what year that game was played in.
Man, that was a long time ago.
13 straight favorites. Auburn would make it 14 straight favorites. Then you have the Final Four, where every Joe Schmo and Schmuck Jones is like, let me get some action down on the Final Four. I'm going to be going to the watch party. And that is right where the public darling gets ousted by the number one defense in the nation. At least
there
that's
you
how
have
I
it,
hope
Duke
goes.
fans. There you have it. Houston. I think I was a year too early on Houston. I picked them to win it all last year, but in hindsight, the injuries prevented that. But yeah, they may do it. We'll see. But
I need it.
Max needs it. All right. There you have it, guys. We're going to hop off here shortly. We're going to get ready to watch Auburn, Michigan State. I know you guys will have other thoughts in the comments after the video. And, of course, we will be back after Auburn, Michigan State here in a little while to talk about that one. But another SEC team ousted here. And now, as of right this second, we're down to 2. Florida has advanced to the Final Four. We'll see what happens with Auburn. But again, guys, we appreciate you supporting the channel. No, actually, we've had a lot of other fan bases join in on this this run. Duke fans, we appreciate you guys. Had a lot of nice things to say about us in the comments. So we probably won't cover your team in full length until you get to wherever in the Final Four. But I'm sure we'll be talking about it on our shows as we do with everything related to this NCAA tournament. But yeah, for the SEC teams, Tennessee, Kentucky, all that, you guys know we're hopping on the transfer portal. Or wait, we're not hopping in the transfer portal.
Whoa.
So, like, we're not transferring, but we will be hopping in the portal to check out all 1,500 people out there that are looking to transfer elsewhere, I guess. So we'll have you covered with videos on that. A lot of those coming this week as well. So, all right, guys, we appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. Hit the like button as well. Turn on your notifications so you know we go live and or publish new videos here at Southeastern 16. And thanks, as always, for your support on the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon at Southeastern 16.